Hello, chess friends. This is a continuation of my intermediate series of the chess.com bot challenge. In the last game, I played Maxim with the black pieces. This time I played it with the white pieces. I'll talk about the game here in the analysis mode. He plays the French defense. And I go for this line. I've heard that it's better than knight c3 because it prevents the bishop pin here. I don't want to push past the e5. Exchanging helps black because right now his queen bishop is poor. I don't want to push past unless it gives me a tempo. For instance, if he plays something like this, I'll push past and take space in the center with a tempo. Otherwise, I'll just continue my normal development. Here, the engine thinks it was better to maintain the tension in the center and play bishop to d3. But I pushed past anyway. Gave a little bit of my advantage up. I think now the bishop should go to back to f8. And after c5, have a normal French type of position for black. I guess this is okay too. In this case, the knight will develop here and then the f5. Normally, c5 would be played here first, prompting c3. In this case, the knight can still get that done by gaining a tempo on my bishop. My bishop moves, and then c5. So I'll stop that by just playing c3 right now. This was a mistake because perhaps black is trying to keep the position closed, but black forgot about the en passant move. And with this move, he loses the right to castle, and I get one of my pieces to sit on his third rank, which is here. So anytime someone can get their piece on the opponent's third rank, generally, it's a good thing for them and bad for the opponent that allowed it. Here I'm fishing around because it's played so weakly. I'm fishing around for a way to bring the hammer down. I think it was best to just castle my king and then look for these different opportunities. However, this move does open up for my dark squared bishop. Thinking of checking on this square when it's right. So since I accomplished two things at once, I sort of like the move, but it might have been better to delay it and just castle. Weakens this square. However, I don't see a way I can take advantage of it immediately, if at all. It does, however, stop the knight from putting him in check here. Again, I was considering several things, like in this position. However, I think the move's an inaccuracy. I should have just castled, but I was considering, for instance, perhaps redeploying the bishop here and then bring the bishop here. Now he opens up the position, and the evaluation for white really goes up. So this was really bad. He was already in a white has more development than black does. And when a person has more development, he should not strive to open up the position, open up lines. Usually that means open up the center lines. This will open up the D and the E files for white. And since white has more development, it's really bad. Before this, I think white was almost winning. Well, he had a clear advantage, let's put it that way. But after this move, it's completely lost with best play. White is happy to open up lines. Has a centralized queen. Have to watch out for. Well, no, I don't. I don't have to. But since his bishop is here, I'm not worried about this rook coming here. Before any of that can happen, the bishop would have to be chased away, and I'll get a chance to castle before that happens. With this move, I calculated the knight is pinned. He's attacking my bishop. Black is thinking he can take the bishop. I take his queen, and he takes my queen. However, I have a better move. I meant to say this is what black is thinking about now. He's thinking of attacking the bishop. So if I made a move, let's say castle, then black wants to take here. However, after this pin, my position is completely winning, and taking this so-called free bishop, and it doesn't do any good. In fact, it loses the queen because I check here at d5 after knight takes bishop. I was also looking at this rook here, but there's no way to save the queen. King must escape from check. And then I have queen takes queen. Forks this king and this rook. So he must block the check here to connect his rooks so that they protect each other. My queen escaped the attack of the bishop on e6 with check so that I don't waste time. I don't know why that move was necessary. Perhaps if at the 1000 rating it has to give you pieces, so it did. Finally, I castle. Develop a rook to the open file. I want to submit this bishop on g5, so the queen is free to move around and capture this pawn or make other threats, and the king cannot respond by king takes bishop. Rooks love the 7th rank. Now this pawn is attacked. The queen and rook make a battery on the 7th rank. This bishop move leads to forced mate. Obviously, if he takes the bishop, it's made in two. Rook here, followed by queen to g7. King is forced to, well, technically, he could take with the rook. He could take rook takes bishop. But after that, queen takes rook with check. The rook probably has to go back and interpose. And then, so rook takes bishop. Here, queen here with check. Probably best to interpose with the rook. And then check here. Rook must interpose again. And then checkmate. However, if king here, then I think my queen would simply simplify by playing this move. The rook's now attacked twice, so it must take. And this rook will join the party and finish checkmating the black king. So instead he moved his king there. Discovered attack, and this is a forced mate in 2 from here. So from this position, it's mate in 3 basically. And now taking advantage of the horizontal pin on the rook. White delivers checkmate with the bishop. Okay. I hope you gained something from that. If you appreciated it, please give a like. If you like more content like this, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you.